In the evolving landscape of American governance, the question of presidential power and its limits has resurfaced with renewed urgency, particularly in relation to federal funding. Under President Trump's administration, a significant legal test is unfolding as the president attempts to unilaterally override congressional mandates on federal funding, a move that has ignited debates about the balance of power between the executive and legislative branches. The crux of the matter lies in Trump's decision to cancel grants and shutter agencies that were operating under laws established by Congress. This action raises fundamental constitutional questions, as the Constitution grants Congress exclusive authority over federal appropriations, suggesting that only Congress has the right to decide how federal funds are allocated. Legal scholars and political analysts alike are closely monitoring the situation, noting that historical precedents reveal a strong reluctance among past presidents to deviate from this established norm. As Emily Bazelon of the New York Times points out, the framers of the Constitution were deliberate in their design to keep executive power in check. Alexander Hamilton famously argued that a clear separation of powers would prevent any branch from becoming too powerful. This principle has generally been respected by past administrations. However, the current administration appears willing to challenge these long-standing conventions. In recent months, several federal judges have ruled against the Trump administration's actions mandating the release of withheld funds. A notable case brought forth by Democratic state attorneys general is expected to reach the Supreme Court, which could have significant implications for the future of executive power. The Supreme Court previously upheld the principle of legislative supremacy over fiscal matters in a 7-2 ruling regarding the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, reinforcing the notion that Congress retains ultimate authority over budgetary decisions. As the political climate evolves, so too do the dynamics surrounding housing development and urban planning, particularly in New York City. Amidst a pressing affordable housing crisis, a contentious plan to construct two 10-story apartment buildings on the site of an industrial laundry business in Brooklyn has cleared a major hurdle. The City Council's recent approval of the zoning change reflects a shift in the political landscape as progressive leaders navigate the complexities of urban development in the face of public opposition. This particular project, which includes a commitment to allocate 40% of its 250 units as below-market rentals, highlights the growing recognition among local politicians that increased housing supply is essential to addressing affordability issues. Shayanna Hanif, a Democratic councilwoman representing the area, emphasized the need for progressive solutions to housing challenges, stating, "For me, being a progressive means tackling those issues, and tackling those issues means getting to a solution, and one of the solutions is to get more housing built." Despite the support from some local leaders, the project has sparked intense debate among residents, many of whom fear that the new buildings will disrupt the character of their low-rise neighborhood. Opponents argue that taller buildings could lead to increased rents and displacement, a concern that resonates deeply in the context of New York's ongoing housing affordability crisis. The Arrow Linen proposal serves as a microcosm of a broader trend affecting liberal urban areas across the nation, where leaders are increasingly compelled to address housing shortages that threaten their political bases. As progressive politicians grapple with the need for new development, they face the challenge of balancing community concerns with the imperative to build more housing. As these two narratives unfold, one centered on the limits of presidential power and the other on the urgent need for affordable housing, their implications resonate beyond their immediate contexts. The outcomes of legal challenges to executive authority and local zoning battles will shape the future of American governance and urban life, setting precedents that could redefine the relationship between citizens, their representatives, and the institutions of power. Looking ahead, the resolutions of these conflicts may not only impact current administration policies but also influence the political landscape in the lead-up to the next election cycle. As public sentiment shifts and pressures mount, how leaders respond to these challenges will ultimately define the trajectory of governance in an increasingly complex society. In a rapidly evolving digital landscape, the intersection of personal aspirations and professional support remains a critical topic. Recent columns in the Washington Post shed light on this dynamic, addressing the complexities of familial relationships, personal accountability, and the ramifications of social connections in professional realms. In one piece, Carolyn Hacks explores the challenges faced by a budding writer seeking networking assistance from family. The writer's frustration stems from a perceived lack of support, raising questions about familial obligations and the expectations placed on relatives. Hacks notes family can be a powerful ally, but it can also be a source of disappointment when help is not forthcoming. This sentiment resonates with many who find themselves in similar predicaments, grappling with the balance between personal ambition and the support systems that either bolster or hinder their progress. The writer's struggle underscores a broader issue: the importance of cultivating professional relationships beyond one's immediate social circle, especially in fields where networking is vital for success. Meanwhile, another column by Eric poses a different but equally poignant question: how to navigate the re-emergence of a friend who, after years of estrangement due to past misbehavior, seeks assistance. This situation forces individuals to confront their boundaries and the complexities of friendship. Eric's response emphasizes the importance of addressing past grievances while also recognizing the potential for personal growth. People can change, but trust is hard to rebuild, he writes, encapsulating the delicate nature of human relationships. This narrative highlights the often unspoken rules of social interactions and the challenges of forgiveness and support when the past looms large. In the gaming world, the release of Obsidian's highly anticipated title Avowed has sparked discussions not only about gameplay mechanics but also about narrative execution. A recent review notes that while the combat elements are engaging, the writing falls short of expectations. The reviewer comments, "In a game where storytelling is king, one cannot overlook the importance of compelling narratives." This critique reflects a broader trend within the industry where narrative depth is increasingly scrutinized, suggesting that developers must prioritize storytelling to enhance player immersion and satisfaction. In the political arena, recent decisions by the Trump administration regarding military spouses highlight ongoing tensions in workplace policies. Under pressure, the administration has opted to exempt military spouses from a federal return to office mandate. This move has been widely interpreted as an acknowledgement of the unique challenges faced by military families, particularly in balancing service commitments with career aspirations. Observers note that this decision may set a precedent for more flexible workplace policies, particularly in sectors heavily impacted by military dynamics. As the year progresses, these discussions around personal growth, professional networking, and the balance of personal and professional responsibilities are likely to evolve. The complexities of human relationships, whether familial, friendly, or professional, will continue to shape individual trajectories in both personal and public spheres. As we move forward, the implications of these narratives will resonate across various sectors, influencing how we approach networking support systems and the broader societal expectations placed upon us. In an evolving landscape where technology and intellectual property rights are increasingly intersecting, a significant legal battle is brewing between prominent publishers and the AI firm Cohere. Accusations of copyright violations have emerged, with companies like Condé Nast and McClatchy leading the charge. This situation not only raises questions about the sustainability of AI development practices but also highlights the broader implications for content creators in a digital age. The crux of the dispute lies in the alleged unauthorized use of copyrighted materials by Cohere, which has been accused of leveraging content from these publishers to train its AI models without permission. This revelation has sent shockwaves through the media industry, prompting calls for stricter regulations and clearer guidelines regarding copyright in the realm of artificial intelligence. As one industry insider noted, if companies can freely use our content to improve their AI, what incentive do we have to create high-quality journalism? The ramifications of this case go beyond the immediate legal challenges. It underscores a growing tension between traditional media outlets and tech companies that increasingly rely on their content. The landscape is shifting, and as more AI models emerge, the potential for copyright infringement becomes a pressing concern. Data from industry studies suggest that an overwhelming majority of publishers feel vulnerable to such practices, with nearly 70% expressing dissatisfaction with current copyright protections. Adding to the complexity of the situation are the ongoing discussions around AI ethics and the responsible use of data. Advocates for stronger protections argue that the current framework does not adequately address the unique challenges posed by AI technologies. The law hasn't caught up with technology, said a legal expert familiar with copyright issues. We are in an uncharted territory where the traditional rules may not apply effectively. As the case unfolds, it may set a precedent for future interactions between AI firms and content creators. If the publishers prevail, it could pave the way for more rigorous standards in the AI industry, compelling companies to adopt more transparent practices regarding data usage. Conversely, if Cohere manages to defend its practices, it could embolden other tech firms to follow suit, potentially exacerbating the copyright concerns facing publishers. In a parallel development, the tech world is also grappling with broader economic factors such as inflation, which has been gaining momentum. Recent reports indicate that inflation surged in January, prompting concerns within the Federal Reserve regarding interest rate adjustments. As economic pressures mount, the interplay between the tech sector and economic conditions could influence funding and support for AI initiatives, including those embroiled in legal disputes. As this pivotal moment in copyright law and AI development continues to unfold, both the tech industry and content creators will be watching closely. The outcomes of these legal battles may not only redefine the boundaries of intellectual property rights but also shape the future landscape of technology and its relationship with creative industries. Moving forward, the dialogue surrounding these issues will be crucial in ensuring that innovation thrives alongside respect for original content. In a striking turn of events that has sent ripples across Europe and ignited concerns in Kyiv, former U.S. President Donald Trump has initiated direct peace talks with Russian President Vladimir Putin, potentially reshaping the geopolitical landscape in Eastern Europe. This development comes as Ukraine continues to grapple with the repercussions of Russia's ongoing invasion, which began 3 years ago and has since turned into a protracted conflict with significant humanitarian and territorial implications. The recent dialogue between Trump and Putin marks a significant departure from the previous administration's steadfast support for Ukraine, which was characterized by a commitment to NATO and a firm stance against Russian aggression. As Trump explores avenues for peace, the ramifications could be profound, particularly for Ukraine, which finds itself increasingly isolated. Observers note that Trump's approach appears to align with Putin's ambitions to re-establish a sphere of influence in Europe reminiscent of the post-World War II Yalta Conference. Alexander Gabuev, director of the Carnegie Russia-Eurasia Center, remarked, "The situation looks much more favorable for Putin than at any point during the entire war over the last 3 years." This sentiment reflects a growing anxiety among Ukrainian officials and their European allies, who fear that the U.S. may unilaterally withdraw military and diplomatic support, leaving Ukraine vulnerable to further Russian advances. In the aftermath of the Trump-Putin conversation, which reportedly included discussions on bilateral economic cooperation and the potential easing of sanctions against Moscow, there was palpable enthusiasm in Russia. Kirill Dmitriev, a prominent figure in Russian finance and diplomacy, expressed optimism, stating, "A single call can change the course of history." Such comments highlight the Kremlin's belief that this dialogue could pave the way for a new chapter in U.S.-Russia relations, one defined by cooperation rather than confrontation. The timing of these talks is critical, as both leaders appear to be eyeing significant dates for a potential ceasefire agreement, including the upcoming Easter celebrations or Russia's Victory Day on May 9. The Kremlin has even extended an invitation for Trump to attend the May 9 festivities in Moscow, further illustrating the warming ties between the two leaders. However, this burgeoning relationship has not been well received in Kyiv. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky expressed his discontent, noting that he was unaware of Trump's call with Putin until after it occurred. Zelensky has been vocal about the necessity of involving Ukraine in any negotiations regarding its future, insisting, "I will not accept any bilateral negotiations about Ukraine without us." This statement underscores the deep apprehension in Ukraine regarding the potential sidelining of its interests in discussions with Russia. Adding to the complexity of the situation, Ukraine's National Security and Defense Council announced sanctions against former President Petro Poroshenko and several oligarchs, accusing them of compromising national security. This move has sparked outrage among Poroshenko's allies and raised questions about the political motivations behind the sanctions, particularly in light of Trump's recent overtures to Moscow. As tensions mount, the prospect of a swift resolution to the conflict remains uncertain. Experts suggest that while Trump may be eager to broker a peace deal, any comprehensive agreement will require the involvement of NATO and the European Union, both of which have been vital in supporting Ukraine against Russian aggression. Samuel Charap, a senior political scientist at RAND, cautioned that it is too early to say what Trump is willing and able to give in negotiations. With the geopolitical stakes at an all-time high, the unfolding dynamics between the U.S., Russia, and Ukraine will be pivotal in determining the future of the region. As both sides navigate this complex landscape, the implications of Trump's initiatives could redefine alliances and alter the course of the ongoing conflict. The coming weeks are likely to be crucial as the world watches to see whether this newfound dialogue will lead to a lasting peace or further entrench the divisions that have marked Eastern European geopolitics for decades. In an era where immersive storytelling and expansive worlds have become the hallmark of contemporary gaming, Obsidian Entertainment's latest title Avowed emerges as a noteworthy contender in the fantasy genre. Set to launch on February 18, 2025, this game invites players to explore a richly crafted universe that echoes the thematic depth of Annihilation and the adventure of Oblivion. However, despite its stunning visuals and intricate lore, Avowed grapples with some familiar challenges that may dampen the overall experience. From the outset, Avowed establishes itself within the familiar territory of Obsidian's Pillars of Eternity franchise, drawing upon its well-established lore and characters. The game is set in a land beset by a maddening plague characterized by grotesque fungal growths that consume the populace. Players assume the role of a godlike envoy tasked with uncovering the mysteries of this decaying world. The narrative is layered with political intrigue and vibrant characters that promise an engaging experience. As Keza MacDonald of The Guardian notes, the lands between is fascinating to look at and the realm of Eora full of political tension and cool monsters. The game's aesthetics are described as a blend of organic beauty and decay reminiscent of both Annihilation and Oblivion. The visual details, from the architecture to the creatures inhabiting the world, create a captivating atmosphere that invites exploration. MacDonald recounts memorable encounters like discovering a gigantic automaton in an underground cavern or unearthing chilling secrets in a companion's family home. This compelling environment is essential for an open-world game, and Avowed initially delivers on that promise. However, the vastness of Avowed's world, while ambitious, presents a double-edged sword. Players may find themselves overwhelmed by the sheer scale of the game. MacDonald notes her surprise at the game's length, initially expecting a more concise adventure akin to The Outer Worlds. Instead, players may easily find themselves investing over 30 hours without a clear sense of progression, leading to a sense of fatigue. Unfortunately, Avowed would be better if it were 20 hours long, MacDonald reflects, emphasizing the repetitiveness that can emerge in open-world gameplay. Two primary issues contribute to this sense of monotony. First, the game exhibits a common shortcoming of open-world titles: an imbalance in difficulty. New areas often present challenges that feel insurmountable at first but eventually devolve into a series of predictable tasks as players level up. This cycle can diminish engagement, turning the game into what MacDonald describes as a box-ticking exercise. Second, the combat system, despite its variety, featuring weapons like grimoires, axes and bows, fails to deliver the engaging experience that players might expect. Combat feels imprecise and often hinges on invisible statistics rather than skill, which can lead to frustration. While Avowed boasts an impressive array of environments and narrative depth, the combat and questing mechanics may leave players wanting. The game offers a wealth of lore and character interactions that are both well-written and thought-provoking. But the allure of exploration is often tempered by the realization that the rewards for such endeavors may not be as exciting as anticipated. As McDonald succinctly puts it, the fun of exploring is tempered by the realization that outside of the views and the characters you'll rarely find anything that interesting. As the gaming community eagerly awaits the release of Avowed, it stands at a crossroads. The potential for captivating storytelling and exploration exists, yet the pitfalls of repetitive gameplay and lackluster combat could hinder its success. Players will undoubtedly enter the world of Eora drawn by the promise of discovery, but whether they will remain engaged throughout the journey remains to be seen. With the gaming landscape ever evolving, the question looms: can Avowed strike the right balance to captivate players for the long haul? Or will it succumb to the familiar traps of its genre? Only time will tell as we approach its launch date. Valentine's Day has long been regarded as the quintessential celebration of romance, marked by candlelit dinners and heartfelt gestures. However, as societal norms evolve, so too does the way we approach love and relationships. A recent article from The Economist highlights the shifting dynamics of dating in modern Britain, suggesting that traditional celebrations of romance may need to adapt to the realities of contemporary relationships. The article notes a significant change in dating habits, with an increasing number of individuals opting for non-traditional arrangements. In particular, the rise of throuples or three-person relationships reflects this shift. As more people seek to redefine what love means in a modern context, traditional Valentine's Day celebrations may struggle to resonate with an audience that is increasingly diverse in its romantic preferences. The implications of these changing dynamics extend beyond personal relationships; they also affect the economy. With fewer couples opting for the classic dinner dates, restaurants and businesses catering to Valentine's Day have recognized the need to adjust their offerings. According to industry reports, establishments are beginning to market to groups rather than pairs, offering shared dining experiences and special packages designed for throuples and friend groups. This shift could signal a broader trend in consumer behavior where inclusivity is prioritized, reflecting the realities of diverse relationship structures. In a broader sense, the changing landscape of love and dating raises important questions about how society defines relationships and what it means to celebrate them. While Valentine's Day has been a staple of romantic tradition, it may have to evolve to remain relevant. As more individuals embrace various forms of relationships, from polyamory to long-term friendships, the traditional symbols of love, roses, chocolates, and intimate dinners, might be replaced by experiences that emphasize connection and community. As we look towards the future, it is clear that Valentine's Day will need to adapt to these changing tides. The increasing normalization of diverse relationship structures presents both challenges and opportunities for businesses and society at large. It will be interesting to see how various sectors respond, particularly as they seek to engage an audience that values inclusivity and authenticity in their romantic lives. As love continues to evolve, so too must our celebrations of it, paving the way for a Valentine's Day that reflects the rich tapestry of human connection in all its forms.